Hello and welcome to Sky Yoga. Today we'll be doing a standing balance routine. And standing balance is great for a lot of things. Obviously, it's good for balance, which is something we all need, especially as we get older and the consequences of falling become more dangerous. But standing balance routines also build strength, especially in the legs, but also in the core and the back, because you'll see that those core muscles, those torso muscles, do a lot of work in those poses as well. So we'll begin with our usual seated breath control and warm up. And if you have yoga weights, you can always put them on your knees when you're in a seated position. So let your lower body sink into the ground and be your support. And let your upper body just kind of float up here, supported by the strong, firm lower body. Just sitting strong in the ground. Back is lifted up straight. Arms are relaxed. And eyes are looking downward. And what that does is bring your neck in line with the rest of your spine. So let's sit here and observe our breath for a few moments. And now let's go into pranayama, breath control. So choose one aspect of your breath that you want to change. Maybe you want to slow it down. Maybe you want to breathe deeper into your belly. Maybe you want to expand more in your chest and rib cage. Maybe you want to exhale longer than your inhale. So choose one thing to focus on it, and we'll do that for about 5 breaths. And now let's do about 5 cleansing breaths. So deep, full inhales, and then exhale using the ab muscles. Really squeeze it out. And on this last exhale, feel free to stick out your tongue for lion's breath. Getting a little bit of a roar there. All right. So now we'll start stretching the neck. Drop your chin down. Let your head hang heavy. Feel the back of the neck begin to stretch. Begin to gently wag the head side to side. And then when you feel ready, we'll roll the head in a big half circle. Chin to shoulder, chin to shoulder. And if it feels right, you can take the head in a big full circle. If that does not feel right, then stick with the half circle. And if you are doing circles, try the other way. Maybe one works and the other doesn't. You won't know unless you try. And up to center. Okay. Let's open the arms wide and inhale up, reach high. And exhale down, release. If that's painful, you can try coming up through the middle instead. And exhale down. And one more either way. Good. Let's bring the arms up again with an inhale. Bring the palms together and turn them outward toward the ceiling. And then drop one hand for a side bend. The bottom elbow bends. The hips stay on the floor, so no need to lift your hips up. And pull the top elbow back. Make sure your chest and your face are to the front of the room, not down at the floor. Breathe. And on your next inhale, rise up, inhale, and exhale the other way. Bottom elbow bends, top elbow pulls back. That's my trouble shoulder, so I'm going to rest my hand on my heart instead and focus on the leaning. And then inhale up, arms wide, thumbs up. Gently press the backs of the hands toward each other behind you. Yours are probably going further than mine. Mine are going further than they did a week ago, I'll tell you that. Stop where you're comfortable and feel the pecs stretching in your upper chest. Feel your shoulder blades squeezing together behind you. And now wrap your arms around yourself in a big hug, pulling your shoulder blades forward. And let's rest the hands on the knees and do some shoulder rolls. Inhaling up, exhaling down. And we'll change direction now. And let's shake out the hands and we'll move to our hands and knees to continue warming up the spine. So coming into tabletop position. Joints are stacked, and if your wrists or knees are sensitive, then put something under them, a towel or blanket, or even an extra fold of your mat will protect them. So let's press through the palms of the hands. Try to press evenly into the heel of your hand and the ball of the hand. So pressing evenly through the palms of your hands, lengthening up through your arms. Feel your shoulders drop forward. They're kind of wrapping forward around your rib cage, pulling apart in the back. Head drops, belly rises up, press your navel to the sky. Hips drop. And we're in a big angry cat arch. Maybe wag your hips here a little bit. Stretch your sides. And then on your next exhale, push back, sitting on your heels. Pause here in this modified child's pose. Feel the stretch in your arms. And then on an inhale, bend your elbows and pull forward. Lifting your head, lifting your hips, And your belly drops down. That's not all belly. Some of that is t-shirt. There we go. That's better. And now we're in cow pose. Again, pause, wag your tail. And then proceed with your own breath at your own pace. So arching up and exhaling back. Scooping forward and inhaling with that. And when you come back up to tabletop, again, pause, and we'll do thread the needle. Inhale the left arm high, reach for the ceiling, and exhale it down to the floor. Rest your shoulder and head on the floor. Hands begin palm to palm, and then your right arm slides out as far as it can. And then with an exhale, wrap your right arm around your back. Your hand just comes to rest wherever. And then you have the option to roll your left forearm on the floor with an open or a closed hand. Try them both. And now we'll bring the right hand back close to your face, press up, inhale the left arm high, and exhale it down. Switching sides. This is always a big test for me. Inhale the right arm high. Okay, maybe a degree more than last week. And then exhale it to the floor. If you have a sensitive shoulder, you want to rest your head on a block when that sensitive shoulder is on the floor. Take some weight off of it. And then your hands begin palm to palm. Your left arm slides out. Reach, reach, reach. And then with an exhale, exhale that left arm around behind you. And you may roll your right arm on the floor with an open or closed palm. And we'll unwind that left arm, press up, inhale the right arm high, and back down again. All right, and now we'll do kickstand for the leg. So kick back your left leg, flex your foot, rotate your ankle, rotate it the other way. My ankle always clicks. And then we'll swing that left leg out to your side. Extend it as long as you can, and then ease back to rest on your forearms. Relax your left leg and reach out toward your left ankle. You can let your head hang. You can rest it on a block. And we'll bring the hand back, lifting up, bring the knee back, and we'll switch sides. Extend your right leg straight back, flex your foot, rotate your ankle, take it the other direction, and then swing the right leg out, all the way down, resting on your heel and your forearms. Relax that leg, reach for your ankle. Really feeling that in the hamstring. Sometimes you feel it more in one leg than the other. I have a feeling that I don't cross my legs both ways equally when I'm sitting at my computer all day. We're going to lift up and bring that knee back in and Wag your tail and do a little drunken cow. So from your tabletop position, just spinning around, Sufi rolls, these are also called. Feeling the gentle stretch in your hips and shoulders, front of the hips, back of the hips. And let's change direction. Next time you're in tabletop, swing forward, hips low. You can stay here with arms straight or lower down onto your elbows, whichever your body needs today. Let your abs really go. Let them relax. Let your glutes relax. Just let your abs hang and stretch. And then we're going to push back through tabletop into child. So knees wide, big toes touch, arms long in front. Let your hips sink down towards your heels. And then let's come back up to tabletop and sit back on our heels. So we're going to go straight into the standing balance pose so we can, or sequence flow, so that we can spend some time on it. And I just want to reiterate the ground rules, which are that you move when you're ready to move. So if you want to stay in tripod, the very first pose, the whole time, that is your practice. You do what you want to do and what your body needs you to do. So if at any point you're like, ooh, I want to play with this pose and see how long I can hold this pose, do it. Nobody's watching. So we'll go through the whole sequence very slowly on each side, and then we'll go through the whole sequence again a little bit faster and add on a tough pose at the end. So let's make our way slowly up to standing. I'm going to turn off my heat. It is plenty warm here in Denver. So we're going to start, as I said, with tripod and then tree. And we started on the right Saturday, so we're going to start on the left today. Let all your weight come into your left leg and sink down into the ground through your left foot. Try to spread that weight between your left heel and the ball of your left foot. So the four corners of your feet is what we call that in yoga. And what's happening on the right side? Not much. So we're going to rest your right heel on your left ankle. This is tripod pose. And this is where I recommend that you stop and sort of take inventory. Are you standing straight? Are you kind of leaning forward? Stand straight, shoulders over hips. Are your shoulders relaxed? And have you got a drishti, a focal point, something that you can stare at? Something not moving, preferably. So you can stand here in tripod all night long if you want. If you are feeling stable and you'd like to move into the next pose, it is tree. You would lift the sole of your right foot up to either your left calf or your left inner thigh. I do not want your foot resting on your knee. That's a lot of pressure and weight on one joint. So coming into your basic tree pose, just pause here and see how that feels. Is your right knee out to side? Are your shoulders still relaxed? If and when you feel stable here, if you've been doing tree for a while, for example, you might try growing branches, lifting your arms up high. Always pause and seek stability in any phase before you move to the next pose. And if you've been doing this a long time, and this is super easy, try very slowly lifting your gaze upward. And you will be challenging your balance for sure. All right, so let's say we're in tree pose, basic tree pose. Yes, I am wobbly. That's why we're doing this 2 sessions in a row, because we haven't done it in a long time. And also my things are slippery. Stop that. Okay, so from basic tree pose, we're going to transition into dancer pose. And I know you can't see my head right now, but you will. So from tree pose, your left hand comes to your heart, your right hand comes to your right knee comes in front of you. Slide your right hand down your shin, grab your foot, pull it behind you, and now we're in flamingo. And just pause here, seeking stability. Press your right knee toward the floor. Feel the stretch in your right quad. And feel free to stay in flamingo. It's a challenging pose. Or you can follow me into the next pose, which is dancer. Going to lean forward, slowly reach the left arm out, press the right foot back into the right hand. This is dancer pose. It's very similar to what we do in pointer at the end of the pointer stretch. And you're going to feel a lot of wobble in your supporting leg, the left leg right now. And that's great. That's what's building strength over there, is all those muscles working together to maintain your balance, is building strength in that leg. If you're ready to move on to the next pose, it is Warrior 3. I'm going to release the back foot. Let it extend out long behind you. And your upper body is bending even more forward until you feel like a big capital T. Your hands are at heart center. Your left hip is doing a lot of work. When and if you feel stable here, you can try extending your arms. And if you've got strong arms, you can reach out in front of you like Superman. That's the classic Warrior 3. That's not happening for me today. And let's bring the feet down and take a quick rest. So that's the basic flow. A good rest move here would be standing cats and cows, flipping the back in and out, just like we do in cat and cow. So we'll do that sequence again, nice and slow, this time with the right leg supporting. Shake it out. We'll start with tripod. All your weight is in your right leg and right foot, in the 4 corners of your right foot. Just feel your weight drilling down into the floor, especially through your right heel. Maybe lean forward a bit, get a bit more weight on the ball of your foot. Feel the balance. And then rest your left heel on your right ankle. And bring your hands to heart center. You're in tripod, the beginning one-legged balance pose. These are great for building strength for just about all the winter sports. Skiing, skating, cross-country skiing, anything that involves ankle strength. This is good for those sports. So do your inventory. Make sure that your body is upright, evenly stacked, shoulders over hips, shoulders relaxed. Got your focal point, your drishti. And when and if you're ready, move the sole of your foot up to either your calf or your inner thigh. And just pause here, hands at heart center, and breathe. Slow, steady breath will help with balance. Fast, unsteady breath will not help with balance. Press your hands into each other. Use active arm strength to help you balance. And once this feels stable, you can try lifting your arms. And if this isn't challenging enough, try lifting your gaze. And that makes me wobble down. All right. So now I'm coming up a bit to transition into flamingo and then dancer. So you are welcome to stand tree. If you're transitioning with me, you're going to place your right hand on your heart, left hand on your left knee, bring it to the front, and then left hand slides down your left shin until you're pulling your left foot behind you. Pause here for flamingo. Left knee pointing down. Right ankle doing lots of work. If you're transitioning from flamingo into dancer, begin to lean forward, reaching out your right arm and pressing your left foot back. And now I feel the effort shift up my leg into my right calf. The more you lean forward, the harder your legs work, or your right leg in this case. Maybe you feel your abs holding you up as well. If you want to transition to warrior three, release your back foot, extend your leg long, bring your hands to heart center. And we're in that capital T shape. Body and leg parallel with the floor. Right leg working really hard. Once you find stability, try extending your arms to your sides. And if your arms are strong, you can reach out in front. I'm really feeling this in my right hip. And slowly rise up to standing. Very nice. Let's take that rest pose again, hands on your knees, and do a couple of cats and cows in this standing position. This is the best thing when you're on a road trip, by the way. You've been sitting and driving for a long time, but there's nowhere to get down on the ground that's not disgusting. So you just stand there in the rest stop, in the parking lot or the little dog area, and do your standing cats and cows. Shoulders apart, shoulders together. All right, now we are going to go through the sequence again, a little bit faster. Again, make it your sequence. Do the poses you want to do. So, starting from tripod, all the weight in your left leg. Right heel on your left ankle. Hands at heart center. Find your stability. Relax your shoulders. Lifting your sole to calf or inner thigh. Lifting your arms to prayer pose. Hands back to heart center. Left hand to your heart, right hand to your knee. Sliding down to your foot. We're in flamingo now. Press the right knee downward. Feel the stretch in your quad. And I have to make room to go into dancer. So from flamingo, we lean forward, reaching out with the left arm, pushing back with the right foot. Release the foot. Leg is long. Hands to heart center. Warrior three. And if you want to move into the most advanced standing balance pose that I teach, this is where you might want to have your block handy. So we're in warrior three. Hands at heart center. Reach down with your right hand and grab your block. And we're going to, I'm sorry, it's left hand, my mistake. Reach down with your left hand, grab your block. So your left leg and left hand are your only balance points. Lift your right leg up in the air, just like it was for Warrior 3. And when you feel stable, lift your right arm as well. This is half moon. And then let's come down with dignity. Woohoo! Good job. Let's do a couple of those standing cats and cows. And we'll switch everything over to the right side and have your block handy. Let's see, on this side for the half moon at the end, if you want to try that. So all the weight is in the right leg, sinking through the right foot, left heel on your right ankle, tripod stance. Pause and catch your breath. When and if you're ready, lift your foot into tree pose. If you're feeling confident, grow some branches. Hands back to heart center. Right hand on your heart, left hand on your knee, knee to the front, hand sliding down to your foot. Pause here in flamingo. I'm going to resituate for dancer. Flamingo right here, pressing your left knee down. Let your left shoulder drop back. Don't pull it up toward your ear. When and if you're ready, reach forward, tilting into dancer. Right arm reaches, left foot pushes. Release to go into Warrior 3. Hands to heart center, left leg long. Really feel that strength in the right leg. Final pose, if you're up for it, drop your right hand down to your block. Find your balance here. Right leg, right hand. And when you're ready, open up the left arm, reaching into half moon. Lift the leg. Nice and slow, no sudden moves in one-legged balance. Breathe. And come down with dignity. Yay, we did. Good, good, good. All right, so now we're going to make our way down to our backs. Take your time and do some back stretches before Shavasana. Yay. So come down to the back and hug your knees. Rock side to side. Let your back relax into the floor. And then place your hands on your knees and guide them in big circles. And feel your low back flex off the floor, flatten down to the floor. And then change direction. And we'll wrap up with John's pose, knee down twist. So bring your knees directly over your hips. Your feet are just in the air. Your arms tee out. We drop the knees to the right. My top foot likes to hide behind the bottom foot. You can see if that works for you. Use your right hand to hold your top knee, your left knee down. Feel the stretch starting in your left hip. And then try looking straight up and then over your left shoulder. And we'll get a very gentle but complete spinal twist. Relax into it. The only thing doing any work is your right hand holding your knees down. And then look back up to center. Engage your abs and pull your knees back up to center. Give them a little rock and roll. And then arms key out. Knees come directly above your hips again and drop to the left. Oh, left hand holds them down. And you look up at the ceiling and then maybe over your right shoulder if that's doable for you. Again, top foot for me is behind my bottom foot. They're kind of snuggled up together. Head to center, abs engaged, knees to center. Hug and release. Arms to your sides. Legs can be out long below you, or you can bring your feet up wider than your hips and let your knees collapse inward if you need more support for the low back. And let's relax from the back outward. So let your spine soften and fall down into the mat. Let your spine be supported by the mat. Let your rib cage relax into the mat. Let your shoulders sink into the mat. Let your buttocks just melt into the mat. And feel how your whole torso, from shoulders to pelvis, is just relaxed. And let that relaxation flow through your limbs, starting with your upper arms and your elbows, your forearms and wrists. Let the backs of your hands lie heavy on the mat. And your fingers are just relaxed. And finally feel that warmth flowing through your legs, your thighs and knees, your calves. Let your heels sink heavy into the mat and let your toes be soft. Let your breath just flow in and out naturally. Take a big, deep, relaxing breath. Maybe it's an energizing breath. Bringing oxygen to all your extremities. And then begin making the little movements. Fingers, toes, ankles, wrists, neck. And then take whatever pose helps you transition back to your day. It might be a long full body stretch. It might be knees to chest. Whatever your body craves. And then make your way to one side or the other, resting your head on your arm. In the supported fetal pose, a pose for new beginnings. A pose for gratitude. And when you're ready, push your way up to the seated position with your hands at heart center. Thank you all so much for coming tonight and doing this difficult work with me. Namaste. I hope to see you again Saturday or next Wednesday.